I need to open this box of comics so I can send these slabs back to CGC. Oh, hey, there's two of me. Hey there, today I have an unboxing video, and in this video I'm going to open up a shipment that I received from the seller Infinity Comics, where I picked up a number of books at auction on the comic book auction marketplace platform thing called Hip Comic, and I have a number of these orders that I just haven't gotten to, and I was motivated to unbox this particular order for one of the dumbest reasons, which was I needed the box. The, the box is a pretty good size, which means there's quite a few comics in them. And I needed a box that would fit this many slabs in the box because I finally made the executive decision to submit some comics for the upcoming Jenny Frison Signature Series signing event. So I want to show you the books that I'm going to send in for the event very quickly because they're super cool, and I've held on to these for a long time, hoping that Ms. Frison would make a return to CGC, and she is. I believe that her signing deadline is March 30th, 2025, so I need to get these slabs over to CGC so she can sign them, and needed to get a decent-sized box that had enough height on it to get these slabs put inside. But real quick, it'll be fun to kind of show you the books that I'm sending, and then when they come back, I'll do the unboxing on the Signature Series as well. But we have Department of Truth #1. This is the big book in here that I can't wait to get signed. This is Sandman Universe Nightmare Country #1. Then Something is Killing the Children #11. This is the sketch edition. I just think this would look gorgeous with her signature on it. And then I also have the regular variant, the full color version. And those last two really don't have a lot of value, but just think because they're like a full art version, it would look great. Here is a 1 in 100 Spider-Gwen Ghost Spider #1. And the Act of Kindness from Kevin757. I'm going to keep this going on its journey. Super cool. Something is Killing the Children #38. It is the full art Frison sketch variant. And then I have two copies of Something is Killing the Children #1. This is the Unlocked Retailer edition, the full art variant that came out right at the end of FOC for Something is Killing the Children #1. And I am very fond of this cover. I love the cover A. A lot of the covers between Something is Killing the Children, Department of Truth, they're all great. But those are the 8 slabs that I'm going to go ahead and send in. But I need to get the comics out of the box so I can use the box to send the slabs to CGC and show you which books I won at auction from Infinity Comics from way back. Okay, here is the box that I need to get opened. It is marked Fragile, so I can guarantee you that the comics in here are all probably in 9/9 shape, possibly some 10s, all because of the Fragile sticker, which is awesome. I also don't know what's in here. Normally, I do a little bit of prep work, and I build out a spreadsheet, and I go through and I look at the order confirmation, and I do some prep, but I thought, I might be in a little bit of a hurry to get the slabs packed up and sent off to CGC, and also it would be kind of fun to maybe add a little bit of suspense and enjoyment to this unboxing where I don't remember which books I bid on, so it'll be kind of fun to go through these. I think if I'm just going to guess and speculate right here, I'm betting that this order is probably, just because there's so many, it's probably from that period where I was looking at maybe some more quantity over quality. I mean, I hope this is just filled with Hulk 181s, but let's find out. Let me get this opened up. Roughly 5 pounds of comics from Infinity Comics, sent via UPS. Time to open it up. All right, let's do this thing in no particular order. I'm just going to go through the books. There were 3 kind of packs of comics, and it was kind of weird because they just sort of taped all 3 packs together and then put 2 giant pieces of cardboard and then taped the cardboard around the outside. I think the packing peanuts is what kind of held this order together, so I am always grateful for packing peanuts. And they also make for a great snack. All right, the first book here right on top is Amazing Spider-Man number 181, The Pain and the Power from 1978. And I can tell from this one, it's probably, like I mentioned, it's more from the let me find some maybe mid to low high grade copies and see what we can do. And they end up being in that sort of 6.5 to 7.5 range. You can see a lot of the spine ticks there. Not particularly excited about those books anymore, but I at least try to stick to more of the mainstream collectible titles such as Amazing Spider-Man. Here's another one, Detective Comics. This is issue number 450. It looks really rough around the edges there along the spine, and then that's really unfortunate. The paper tear is just coming right off the cover. Batman's getting some sort of goo or some sort of goo juice or something just poured all over him. So that's not a good look for him. Next is Ghost Rider number 25. Cover looks great, just looks faded. Colors look a little off here. But this one looks like it could be pressed out. There are some ticks on the side. Don't really break color, but you can kind of see that crease right in here. Pretty nasty stacking crease, and I wonder if the stacking crease is from the way the books were packed. But I would get these books pressed anyway, so I don't really worry about it too much. But this one looks like could end up being like a 9.6 candidate possibly there. Another Ghost Rider book. This is Ghost Rider 27. I went on quite a run picking up these. I guess this is the second series of Ghost Rider, but it's the Johnny Blaze Ghost Rider, not the Western Ghost Rider. And was finding a lot of these really cheap, grabbing them somewhere around like in the $3 to $8 range. Love my 20-cent covers. This is Kull the Conqueror number 9. And wow, already like some sort of animal just took a little bit of a bite out of the spine there. So again, if everything is perfect, this is probably going to max out around an 8 or an 8.5 at best. So it's unfortunate. Keep going. Swamp Thing number 5. Great Bernie Wrightson cover here. Would love to get every issue of this Swamp Thing run, but man, this one's pretty beat up. Yeah, this is unfortunate. If I could go back and tell myself to maybe save some of that money and bid on some different books, I would have. Here's Amazing Spider-Man 126. Again, great 20-cent cover. Nothing wrong with it. Great collectible series, but just not in the shape where you can do much with it. Not really looking for 9.8 per se, but when this book's going to max out at an 8 and or 8.5, it's probably not worth submitting for grading and just have to keep many of these raw. Let's check out Amazing Spider-Man number 140. Just giving it a once-over as far as condition goes. Same thing, a little bit of stress near the spines, pulling back from the page, a few color breaks at the bottom. So these are all ending up, right around that 8 to 8.5 range, maybe even dropping to a 7.5 in some cases. And if I went back and looked at the invoice, probably many of these were hovering, in that fine plus, fine, very fine range, instead of focusing on the VF plus, VF near mint books that I decided to later on. Here's Amazing Spider-Man number 171, 30-cent cover, almost like a Marvel team-up issue with Nova, and really nothing can stop Photon. I mean, he's not wrong. Looking at the condition of this one looks to be okay. A couple of minor ticks on the side, but this one's not too bad. The corner is probably going to keep it from getting a 9.8. This is probably a 9.6 max if there's nothing wrong with the back cover. All right, we'll keep moving with the next pile, and we've got Uncanny X-Men 117. Great Dave Cockrum cover here. Checking the condition of this one, just giving it a quick once-over. There's several spine ticks here. I probably would start at a 9.0 and work backwards on that one. Then we have Uncanny X-Men number 110. Again, Dave Cockrum, Terry Austin on cover on this. Looks to be in a little bit better shape than the 117. Might be able to squeeze a 9.2 out of this one. I must have been in this mode of like, let me try and get a full run of Amazing Spider-Man and Uncanny X-Men, and wow, here we go. Like I said, I didn't look at these beforehand, so this is kind of cool. We have X-Men 96. I was saying Uncanny X-Men. Uncanny, the title didn't change officially to Uncanny X-Men until later, so this is X-Men 96. Wow, very cool, and it looks to be in pretty good shape. There's a little bit of a spine issue there. I don't think the animal that took a bite out of Cole the Conqueror bit this one, but it's just a little soft there, and there's definitely some spine issues here towards the top, but not bad. Really nice and sharp across the top. Wow. Very, very nice. Well, I do have my X-Men 94, so maybe I shoot for a full run starting with 94, maybe seek out that giant size X-Men #1. I was really hoping this would be a box full of those super mega grails, but we'll take these. Yes, X-Men 234, the elusive 9.8 that I can't really seem to get in high grade. Once again, color breaking ticks along the spine. It's just notorious. This book, it just can't be spine tick free no matter, I don't know how many copies I've picked up of this. It is a newsstand copy, so it does have that going for it. I may just once and for all have to buy it already slabbed, but this looks to be, again, maybe around that 9.0 range. Next is Uncanny X-Men 221. I'm just giggling because I really typically do a lot of prep for this, so it's actually a lot more exciting to not know what's in the box. But again, I think I was just almost like bidding blindly. There's a major problem right there that's, I mean, and not only is it a tear or a massive spine tick that breaks color, it's actually going further into the book away from the spine than normally a spine tick would. I mean, that's got to be at least a quarter inch, maybe even a third of an inch there. And then additional spine ticks. So great that it's a key first appearance of Mr. Sinister, but in pretty rough shape. Let's see what else is in here. What other goodies we have? Uncanny X-Men 211. And I was looking at this one. It's a newsstand copy. It looks to be in great shape, but the cover looks to have some issues with it. Either some ink stains or dirt or who knows right there. So that's not looking good. I hope it's not mold. I don't think it is. It almost looks like just color rubbing or ink staining, but other than that, it looks super sharp. So that'll be an interesting one to grade and figure out what grade I should give it. Back to ASM Amazing Spider-Man 184 from 1978. Pretty much the same comments. Strong copy, mid to high grade, somewhere in that range. Kind of a lower high grade end copy. Probably somewhere around an 8 or an 8.5 for these. So that kind of just falls in line with the other ASMs. Here's Amazing Adventures number 35, starring Killraven. This one looks really rough. Would need a heavy clean on this one. The cover is pretty dirty, or lots of color rubbing. I don't know. Interesting. Hopefully I didn't pay too much for that. Then we have X-Men 161. I'm either saying X-Men or Uncanny and getting them backwards. But love this one. This is the origin of Magneto. And again, not a 9.8 candidate. So it just... great comics all around, but I'm really just trying to chase the best of the best in terms of condition. So it's just disappointing because I already have like this book in this condition, right? I've already got it. And so that's where I wish I would have been a little bit more focused and patient on these auctions to maybe hold out for some higher grade copies. But who knows, maybe some higher grades will sneak in here. Here is Uncanny X-Men 157. Same thing, just not 9.8, not even a 9.4. In that 8.5 to 9.0 range. Then we have Phantom Stranger, number 32. 20-cent cover in that genre of DC horror. Pretty beat up copy. Will most likely end up grading out around a 6. Then there's Amazing Spider-Man 261. This is a fun Charles Vess Hobgoblin cover. Charles Vess, the artist on Web of Spider-Man #1. Can almost just say same condition or see previous comment because they're all about the same, where the naked eye book looks strong, looks solid, and then you zoom in and start to see a number of ticks. This one might end up grading out around a 9.4. It's not as bad, but these also typically I will turn the books over and they will have some significant dirt or other damage to it. It's one of the reasons I don't bid on Infinity Comics anymore, is they don't include a scan of the back of the comic. There are some that slip in that they do include the grade and 2 scans, but for the most part, it's only a scan of the front cover, and it's a bad scan, if that. So it's really difficult to... Okay, sorry, I interrupted myself. Here's Amazing Spider-Man 252. Wow, okay. So the symbiote costumed Spider-Man, Amazing 252. This is awesome because This is my first high grade copy. I have one that's probably at best you could call it a reader copy because it was the one that I read, and it was really quite trashed. This one, unfortunately, I don't think could end up being a 9.8. I'm already seeing some problems down here in the corner. Is a little bit of a blunting, but the blunting could have come out, but you can see that the denting of that corner breaks color. So that's unfortunate. And then going up and down the spine, right there, it's a color breaking tick. So there's already two significant color breaks. And then maybe right here where I've marked with my fingers, there's three more. 1, 2, and 3. And then this is kind of how I grade. I just start counting the ticks. And then this corner also just slightly blunted, which again is okay if you're looking at pressing, but it breaks color there. So now we've got corner issues, and then I think I counted 3 minor spine ticks that break color, and this one would be, a minor major tick. So 4 ticks and 2 corner issues. To me, this would absolutely max out. You're getting an honest grade with no other problems with the book whatsoever. Probably a 9.0. If the blunting comes out and maybe relaxes the corners a bit or sharpens them up, but the color breaking issues persist, maybe a 9.2. But yeah, I think I'm asking for a lot. This is probably a very strong 9.0 copy. But this is perfect for my run of Amazing Spider-Man. ASM 252, I put it back down in the pile here for a second, but again, I do like to talk about the colors. This one is super striking, very rich, vibrant colors on this. So it's possible, again, could eke out a 9.2 on that one, but most likely a 9. And we have Amazing Spider-Man 209, featuring Kraven the Hunter on cover. This one's pretty rough. There's a tear along the spine right there. Some other spine ticks, so probably end up being somewhere around a 7 on that one. Then we have Amazing Spider-Man number 200. This is a double-sized anniversary issue. And I love this because it's a very early direct edition. Everybody talks about how much they love newsstands because they find the barcode so appealing and so interesting on the comic, and that it's a variant. But the early direct editions don't get as much love as newsstands. But this is a 1979 direct edition of ASM 200. And it looks great except for whatever is going on right there. Almost like something inside the comic is trying to burst through the front cover and breaks color right there. But really nice. I would say the wrapping looks solid, right? That's what you want to see. You don't want to see Amazing Spider-Man issue 200 showing up on the front or wrapped around on the back. And I think just the nature of how the book is structured and how it's put together, it's really not bad. You could argue there's some color whitening right there, but it's more of just the natural state of the book. I think it just has too many of these things on the front that are breaking color that would keep it from getting even a 9.6. So it's most likely another probably 8.5 to 9.0 in terms of condition. More Amazing Spider-Man goodness. Here's Amazing Spider-Man 198. Really fun cover with Mysterio. Condition is exactly the same as the others. 4 or 5 significant color breaking ticks, needs a clean and press, but is all in that very fine plus range. And then the last book is Amazing Spider-Man 189. This is cool. Cover art by John Byrne. I've always loved the perspective that Byrne gave this cover here, where it's so dramatic. It really does feel like you're right there with Spidey looking down on J. Jonah Jameson and the Mystery Menace. Looking at the condition, really same commentary as all the others, just too many color breaks for any of these books to be a 9.8. So I will say, really awesome and fun to have an ASM 252. It will be fun to look at what I paid for it and see what I assess the book, and then determine, if it will continue on its journey and be a candidate for a clean and press and slab. Lots of great X-Men books. I mean, this is... If I dreamt of having comics like this as a kid, I went to the comic store or a comic show and I came back with all of this, even in the conditions that they are, I would have been ecstatic. This is weeks of like reading material, and I would like sketch and draw and all of that stuff. And here's a first appearance of Mr. Sinister, an X-Men 234 newsstand. Just a tremendous assortment of comics. I just think for me personally, the tough part is that I really seek out these types of books in high grade. And I mean, who doesn't? If you're collecting comics, you're watching this video, you're getting books graded, of course you want high grade. I think that's a no-brainer. But yes, there are a few keys mixed in here, but these are really, you'd classify them as either filler, non-keys, books that, maybe you want in high grade for specific runs. Are you going to try and put together that Chris Claremont X-Men run from 94 up, or Giant Size X-Men and up? I might want to do that now. But what I found is it's not as satisfying to put like 100 issue run together where everything grades out between like a 6 and a 7.5. What's satisfying is to try and get as many in a particular grade or above. So maybe like set a floor of 9.0 and try and have everything in a 9.0 or above, instead of just getting a random copy in a mid-grade condition. And so that's where, a book like this, just grabbing one as an example, yeah, if you're a John Byrne fan, Amazing Spider-Man fan, I get it. It's important to the run. It screams late 70s Marvel Comics. Like, I get all of that. But even those, when you start grading them out in Fine Plus, what I find is we're getting to the point as collectors that they're just not that interesting anymore. I think the biggest thing for me right now is dealing with the quantity of comics, and also dealing with the scarcity of high grade, high condition books, because so many people, including myself, are getting books graded and sent off to CGC that finding a book like this raw in the wild in a 9.4, 9.6, I mean, it's hard to do. And I think that's going to be interesting over time. I know that you can always take a case and crack it if you want a raw book in high grade. I get that. But it's been such a challenge, maybe starting a little bit later in the game, looking for even these non-keys in high grade. It's been a real challenge. Infinity Comics was one of those places where I would get them, but this is definitely an assortment of great, fantastic comic books, but just maybe a few grade points under what I would consider to be a target grade point. Like, I would probably look at half of these books and would gladly give them back, and would want to get reimbursed and spend all of that money that I spent to get these books, and maybe focus on one or two of these books as 9.8 candidates, which would be very costly, of course. But, if I'm picking these kind of books up for $5 or $10 and I've got 20 of them all kind of topping out around 8.0, I would gladly give them back if I could get a 9.8 copy of a couple of them. What did you think about these comics that I picked up at auction? At some point, do you like not even see condition? It's just comics are comics. I wish that I could go back to those days, but really the mentality of grading and kind of the way that the market is, and where we are with collecting, I really am forced to collect a certain way, where, as excited as I am to see an X-Men 221 or an X-Men 94 or Amazing Spider-Man 252 come across my desk, it is very exciting, it's thrilling, but then when I zoom in and start seeing the problems, I just get a little discouraged. But I think in the end, I do have finally the right-sized cardboard box that I can use to package up those Jenny Frison comics and send them in to her signing event. So I think it's a win-win for me. Thanks for watching, happy collecting, and see you next time.